Not that long ago, we got the new Volkswagen Golf GTI, sort of a refresh of the previous generation, not too big of a changes, and now we have the Golf R, and this looks so good. I'm surprised by just how good this Volkswagen Golf R looks. I've always been a fan of the hatchback Golf. You know, it has this classic hatchback proportions. Now, a Honda Civic, for example, is also a hatchback, but it sort of looks like a sedan. You know what I mean with the original hatchback proportions there? This definitely has that. So, exterior design looks fantastic. I haven't really compared it to the previous Golf R, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. So, we're sort of going to do it together. I haven't really checked the small details from our front, side, rear, and also the interior we should need to talk about. And we don't get a manual transmission for the Golf R or the GTI for 2025. That completely does not make any sense to me whatsoever. The Golf is one of these cars that you definitely want to have at least the option to have it with the manual transmission. So, before we jump into Photoshop here, let's have a look at what this Golf R is all about from this article from Car and Driver, linked down below. 2025 Volkswagen Golf R revealed with more horsepower and a new, very, very good looking black edition. Now, as you know, I'm not a huge fan of black wheels, but if everything on the car is black, then yes, black wheels actually look good. And I do think this new black edition just looks absolutely fantastic. It looks menacing and stunning. I love the proportions and everything about it. So you have 328 horsepower now. The turbocharged all-wheel drive hot hatch also features a new infotainment system and an updated face, but as I said, the manual is sadly gone. You have 13 more horsepower than before and 328 horsepower. In this type of package, it's gonna be a pretty quick car, and also with the dual clutch automatic that you get now. The changes include more power for the turbocharged four-cylinder engine, visual tweaks inside and out, a new infotainment system. A black edition, as I said, also joins the lineup. Expected blacked out exterior look, new front end design, and this new front end, I like it a lot. I just saw a quick comparison between the previous R and the new R, and I'm going to let you know exactly why I think this is such a good design. The taillights are also redone, a new 19-inch wheels. Wheel design looks great as well. He calls it Warmenau, after the name of the time where its R division is headquartered, are said to reduce unsprung weight, so you got lighter wheels now as well. The black edition had darkened badges, black brake calipers, black exhaust pipe, black wheels, and Volkswagen is confirming that this package is indeed coming to the United States. I mean, just look at it. I think it looks so good all blacked out. Usually I'm not a fan of, everything black because I can't really see the design of the car, but this being such a, the silhouette is so unique to begin with, the Golf hatchback silhouette, that you kind of know what car it is even if it's all blacked out. The automatic transmission Golf R previously did 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. So this one having 13 more horsepower. I'm not sure about the weight though, if it's heavier than before, but it's probably going to be around 4 seconds or less in a stock Volkswagen Golf. And the reason why I prefer the R over the GTI is, yes, it's going to be a little bit heavier, but I honestly want to have it be all-wheel drive. And that comes standard, of course, with the R. It's front-wheel drive for the GTI. And again, they say here the 6-speed manual is dead. On the inside though, what the heck is going on here? Volkswagen, what are you doing with this TV right here? It looked so good in the previous pre-facelift, and now why did you have to stick a 12.9-inch infotainment screen that feels so out of place in this interior? But you have a new software. I'm gonna try to calm down here and talk more about the interior when we jump into Photoshop instead of talking it now. But I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Pricing will likely go up a bit compared to the 2024 model year's $47,690 starting price. So let's jump into the fun stuff here. Let's check this out. Let me walk you through these design changes together, because as I said, I haven't really analyzed this new design. I just put these images together real quick for the video. So up top we have that will be the 2024 model year. Down low we have the 2025. And look at this. We have new headlights here. These headlights look a little less stylized in the internal pieces. You see that in the old one we had two sort of LED bulbs in here, and we also have this dip. I think the outline is actually exactly the same as the 2024. I could be wrong there. Not entirely sure, but it looks like we have the same sort of steps here like we have in the 2025 here as well, but we don't have a second piece of LED bulb right there. So it's a little bit cleaner. And we also have this light bar now going. I think we did have that in the old one as well. It didn't look as well integrated as it does now. This feels like it's a little bit more thick than what we had in the 2024 model year, and also the Volkswagen badge in the front end is now lit up. But the big changes happens down low in the bumper, and this new bumper, look at the old one here first. I like this styling. I like the wings that we have sticking up here. It has a very classic, performance car style to it. But we also have this curvature going here. So this is an interesting curvature that still looks good. And this being a small little car, you can have some fun with curvatures and styling in the front end, even if it is a Volkswagen with their rule books this thick. Outlining the how to design a Volkswagen when I was studying car design. They just handed us a book. This is the rules you have to abide by when you're designing a Volkswagen, and one of those rules, probably the most important rule, is you can't have any lines or anything on the car that doesn't serve a purpose. Now looking at this curvature here, it's completely gone. Instead, it's a straight, beautiful line right here, connecting to the very end points of the lower end graphics. And you can see that these fins, they got smaller, but they stick in way further into the center of the car now. And I think this makes it feel, just having this line right here, having this be straight now, instead of having a curvature here, makes it feel more expensive for some reason. I'm not sure why. It just makes it feel more grown up. I'm not sure if that's what you want for a Golf R, but what I'm trying to say here is I do prefer the new Golf R lower section that we have down here. It looks fantastic because we have the straight line, and then we have the separation of the bumper here. You could call this a bumper in between the top half of the graphics up here, and then you have the big intakes down low at the bottom with these small winglets that shrunk, but they extend now further into this section here. So overall, the front end looks fantastic on this car. Now looking at the side view, the reason how you can tell that this is a Golf, just looking at the silhouette here, is of course the hatchback design. We have a clear, sharp shoulder line right here, and then you have another shoulder down here cutting into the corner of the taillight. We have this line up top, of course, cutting pretty abruptly in the rear end to create this hatchback design. And this being a Golf, this, as I've said so many times before when we made videos of Golfs, is that this C-pillar, one of the most key important graphic details, having it be thick like this and go right in on top of the, you can see here, if we put a mark right here in the center of the rear axle, it goes straight right in the middle. So the middle of this line should be right over the rear axle of the Golf, and that is one of the key details that's been around for Golfs ever since the first generation of the 70s. Now looking at the new one here, looking at the side view, there is really not a lot of changes. You can see here, we still have the beautiful body lines in this car, and these new wheels, I'm a big fan of these new wheels. So I think they look really great. The only thing I would like to change here is I want to have a connection between the spokes. So you see how the spokes are not connected really up top in a clear circle going all around it. So I would like to just connect all these pieces with the same type of color that we have going in the spokes themselves, and not have these separations right here. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but overall I think the wheels and tires look great. 19s is the perfect size for this type of car. I would not want to go any bigger than this. And of course the roof line, everything, the spoiler in the rear end seems to be the exact same as we had in 2024. Even the bumper here with this again, Golf design, Volkswagen waterfall design, going from the taillight and then going into this beautiful chamfer in the bumper as well. So we're going to have a closer look at that right here. So this is one of these lines that I love about Golfs. And I think it came out, not sure which model year it was, maybe the mid-90s or something like that, when Volkswagen did this design. So they have a taillight right here. In this case, in 2024, they're very sharp looking, very aggressive looking. And then you have these chamfers going in from like a waterfall from the taillights and creating this bumper. And I love this little line here with this chamfer that goes in, because it goes from one key feature and has a nice, beautiful flowing connection to another key graphic feature, which is a bumper, which is an important part of any Golf. And further down we do have the big quad exhaust here, as you can see, looking very aggressive for the Golf R, in addition to the diffuser as well. If I look at the diffuser and the tailpipes here, they look to be exactly the same to me. I don't see any sort of changes in there. Maybe you do that, but I see some changes here, and I love these new taillights. They look more robotic, but we still have the same outline as we had in the 2024. But now the internal pieces are completely new, and I love how it looks, because we have this very thin LED up top going into a little bit of a thicker LED here on the sides, creating this dynamic movement. As you know, I love to have a big juicy LED on the far end of the taillight, connected by some small thinner LEDs, and that is exactly what we have in this case. And here you can also see the beautiful shoulder line going through the door handles and into not the corner of the taillight, but that's totally fine. I think it looks very cool either way. And further down again, we have this big massive diffuser with the wings as well. I love how Volkswagen really made the Golf R look super aggressive compared to a normal Golf. This is what we want to see. This is what's fun about car design and specific performance trim models, is when companies do this. They just take a normal base Golf and then just go nuts with diffusers and wings and wheels and all of this power that we have on the hood. Now, last but not least, this interior here. So if I were to pick one of these interiors, it's gonna no doubt be the old one for two main reasons. We already talked about one. That is a big display. I mean, look at this. The 12.9-inch display here. What is it doing up here on the dash? It feels like it's almost intruding into the steering wheel and the dash. It's so big that it doesn't feel like it's connected to anything around it at all. I was totally fine. This is probably, like, I can't remember, maybe an 8-inch here. I would want to bring this back. I don't need the 12.9-inch screen up there. This looks so much better, and the integration also feels like it flows so much better than what we have down here. This is just overkill for screens, and I'm not sure if they changed the sliders for the temp controls, which was a problem when I reviewed the Golf GTI, the previous generation, or the pre-facelift. I think everything is now in the infotainment screen down here. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have any sort of buttons, physical buttons for the climate control settings. Everything is located down here on the infotainment screen. But we do have a couple of buttons down here. And the second reason why I prefer the old generation is because of this beautiful thing right here in the middle. Why is Volkswagen not offering a manual for a Golf R? It's like the car that you want to have with a 6-speed manual, specifically when you have the all-wheel drive version at 328 horsepower. I would 100% choose the manual transmission if it was available. But now everything we got is this dual clutch automatic, which is a great automatic. It's very quick and super snappy, but at the same time, it's a Golf-sized car, and I would definitely want to have it being manual. So if you were in the development team of the new Golf GTI and the Golf R, let me know in the comments below the reasoning why you're not offering a manual transmission for this car. I can't figure out why that would be. But overall, the design of this car, the changes that they made, as I said, I feel it looks like a much more, not expensive, but a much more, I'm not sure the word I'm thinking of. It just looks better, specifically in the front end, with this two parallel lines now to clearly define where the bumper is, where the top half and where the lower section is. And if it was me, I would maybe even go with the black edition for the new 2025 Golf R, because it looks so menacing and so good, specifically with the red taillights shining through all that darkness in the back.